A place built to care for Wakefield's poorest people ended its life abandoned, vandalised and largely demolished. Clayton Hospital's story reaches much further back than the NHS. Back in 1787, the Wakefield General Dispensary was established, and that was to look after people who could not afford private medical care. In 1879, the hospital moved to the Northgate site, joined the NHS in 1948 and later closed in 2012. For more than 2 centuries, this place existed to care for the people of Wakefield. But when I entered Clayton Hospital after it closed, there was very little care left to be seen. The corridors are being stripped, the rooms smashed apart, and most of what I photographed here has gone forever. This is a story behind my visit to the Clayton Hospital in Wakefield. Now, we didn't expect to find much in here. We had heard stories of 2 homeless people in here, so this was our main concern. A Polish homeless person and a big Russian homeless person who was meant to be quite fearsome and menacing. Now, obviously these are stories, so you don't know what you're going to find. Firstly, you've got to try and find a way in, and I believe we must have circled this hospital for over an hour. Could not find a way in, boarded shut everywhere. Eventually, after a long time, we found like a little ginnel. It's kind of like a little nook where there's like a little small window, like a corridor window, and it was tucked away. We've walked past it loads of times. So it goes down this little ginnel and there's a window open and a chair waiting for us to help us get in. So obviously this is how the homeless people have been getting in and out. Now, my friend does not like the fact that there's homeless people in these buildings. It freaks him out. He likes to know that once he gets in, he's in on his own or with us. The fact that there might be a homeless person lurking about absolutely terrifies him. So we get in, we don't hear anything. There's a lot of dark corridors. Obviously a lot of the place is boarded up, smashed up to bits. Like, aside from it being smashed up, there are some nice features, and especially, I will say, the areas where they perform the surgery, the operating theatres, which I think they're the operating theatres. I'll show you some pictures, you decide if I'm right or wrong, but they'd been kind of left alone, which I was really happy about because they were really photogenic, these places. The rest of the place was smashed up. There was needles about, spoons, obviously evidence of heroin use, and it's not nice to see. So we're going up and down these corridors. Like I say, everything's smashed up. I'm trying to get as some nice pictures as I can, but it is what it is. It's been vandalised, it's been closed for a few years. So by the time I went in 2014, it had already been shut for 2 years. But in that 2 years, kids had got in there and they'd just made a wreck of the place. So we've been in there an hour and a half, and we're upstairs, and we goes down this ward and we looks in one room. This smell, it's a quite powerful smell, and there's a mattress and there's piles of chocolate sweet wrappers and sandwich wrappers and stuff. So obviously we found where one of the homeless people were, the room that they were situated in. So we've got us backs up a little bit. Is this big Russian guy? Is he going to, you know, come at us? Is he going to... We've no idea, just your mind takes over. As we walk past this room and we go into this ward at the end, we're just messing about in this ward. I think I was texting my missus, it was early morning, tell her that I got in alright and, you know, everyone's okay. And just at a corner of my eye, I can see right down this corridor, bearing in mind this corridor's dark, there's just a little spot of light at the end where I think there was some light coming through a skylight. So it was quite, you know, quite eerie anyway. Just as I look down this corridor, this little figure just flits from one room to other. Very creepy. Horror movie type. I know, like... There's a guy down there, someone's just a little figure's just ripped across the thing. He was silhouetted as well, so it's just a black figure that ripped across the corridor. Luckily one of the lads saw it as well. They were like, yeah, I saw that. I said, well, that must be one of the guys. So we call out, hello, you know, alright, we're just taking photographs. And this guy comes, little guy comes weaseling down to us. Really nice guy as well. He's broken English and we're telling him that we're just taking photographs. He said, oh yeah. And we asked him, because we'd heard about a water tower, so we can't find this water tower. He says, water tower. So come, follow me. Anyway, he takes us to a light a bit of the corridor where the skylights, and he pulls a marker pen out and he starts drawing us a map on the floor to this water tower. And he's like quite a detailed map and he's showing us which way to go, and honest to God, what a guy, really nice guy. So we get some money out, gives him a few quid, says, here, get yourself a sandwich. He looks at money, went, beer, and clenches his fist and ran off down corridor, really surreal. But yeah, it made my day. What a really nice guy. So we followed his map that would couldn't take the map with us, it would drawn up floor in blooming marker pen. And we made us, and sure enough, there's water tower. So we took these, climbed this water tower, a bit dodgy, like makeshift ladders on rotten floorboards. Makes us way to the water tower, nice view over Wakefield, got some nice atmospheric shots. And we never saw him for the rest of the duration of the visit. And quite a big place, loads to see. Like I say, the operating theatres for me were the nicest bits, and I'm surprised they're not being smashed up. The rest of the hospital had been stripped out, wires, you know, everything pulled out. When you get to operating theatres, what I thought the operating theatres, I say, like I say, might be wrong, it's just the colours and the layout and stuff. Yeah, they've been left alone. So, quite strange that, but I'm glad whoever had smashed the rest of the hospital up had left the operating theatres alone, because like I said, there were some of my favourite photographs. So yeah, the damage didn't make the photography harder. I suppose with it being, it was only a few months after I started photographing abandoned buildings, so I think I was more exploring than I was actually creating artwork from abandoned buildings, which is what I do now. So I was still feeling my way around. You know, I wasn't setting my camera up properly. I was just there taking as many pictures as I could and getting out before, you know, anyone came or we got caught or anything. So if I was to go back now, I don't think I would choose that place for photography. There's a lot of stripped out wires, smashed windows. It doesn't, you can always find an angle, but it's a lot harder. Like, I like paint peel, I like vegetation growing out of roofs and walls and stuff, but smashed glass and wires all over the place doesn't really make for nice photography. However, you can still, you know, there still are some nice bits to be had, like these doorways that I photographed and the theatre. One thing I did find was some patient records lying about, which was quite disturbing to see. Now I've got a photograph that I've taken, blur the name out, because you know it's very personal. And listen, I just took a picture, moved on. It wasn't something that shocked me at the time, like, oh my god, guys, look at these records. It was just lit, it was just sat there. Obviously people who had vandalised the place could have gone through the records, but there was just one record sat on the side, took a photograph and moved on. It wasn't until I got home or I looked through these photos recently that I thought, oh, that's strange, leaving a record out like that. However, I didn't look inside the envelope, so who knows, maybe there wasn't a record inside the envelope, maybe there was no paperwork in there, maybe it was just the front of this folder. But strange to see. And I have seen that before in hospitals, records just left lying about. Not that I don't think it'll matter to anyone. I don't think anyone can do anything sinister with them records. Just a bit laxy-daisy if you ask me. So at the time, photographing a hospital just felt like that, just a photographic record of a hospital. Looking back now that 90% of it has been demolished, the pictures are more reflective of a larger lost history. I believe the pavilion has been left standing. The rest of the hospital's been demolished. It did suffer a fire back in 2017, which was 3 years after we'd been, which doesn't surprise me really. If kids are getting in, vandals are getting in, it doesn't surprise me that it eventually did catch fire. Like I say, this hospital is now gone. The response I got from the Facebook post that I put up yesterday, I just put one picture up of Wakefield Hospital, asked if anyone had ever worked there or if you knew anyone who did, and the response has been massive. So the place was huge in terms of people's memories and people who worked there, people who received treatment there as well. A lot of people had the tonsils out there, funnily enough, going by the Facebook post. So yeah, it garnered a huge response, far bigger than I expected. So for those people, thanks for coming on and watching the video. I hope this video meant something to you, and I hope you join me again for another story behind the shots. Thanks again, guys. Bye bye.